Good morning, everyone. It's Adrian here. I wanted to talk about my one of my services that I've just decided to work on. Having been in education for a long time, I believe I can help parents with advice when it comes to how they can help their children perform better at school. Specifically, in my case, I will focus on GCSE English, all boards, but it's about looking at the ideas of how students become successful. Now, I know that a lot of parents probably have kids that go on a lot of gaming all the time. That's fine, as long as it doesn't become an addiction. You also get students that when they do English, they say they don't want to read, they don't find it easy to read, or they just don't try to read because it takes effort to do it. There's lots of peer pressure at schools. So some students will close up and not participate in lessons and not really get involved. So there's lots of confidence building and whatever else. But I've got lots of strategies and ideas that can help parents to actually produce something really good for their children, and it's to the parents. I think it's the first point of call would be just to get the parents involved and seeing if they can encourage based on the advice that I give. It will, I mean, there are lots of things that you can do with facilities. You have to make sure that you have access to online resources. You have to have access to things like Microsoft Word, which is absolutely brilliant to help students to improve their English. I have lots of students that are from other countries now that have come across the UK and where English is an additional language, and I can help them by, again, encouraging the use of Word as a document, because it has facilities of read aloud. So any text that there, you can get AI to read it and listen to it. So that will help you, and then you can follow it. There's also a thing called Dictate, where you can actually speak to Word and it will actually write what you speak, and then you can play it back on read aloud. So there's loads of things, but it's also about how students are conditioned to approach lessons and what they should be doing. And also, to think that the opportunities that schools offer are amazing, really. And it's about input output. To get a lot more out of school, you've got to get more involved in school. You can't go around with your head in the sand. You need to spend time listening and building knowledge. I've got this thing about knowledge that I've been talking about recently, that knowledge gives opportunity. And I don't know why we get certain students that believe that knowledge and learning is not cool. Actually, it's the most cool thing to do because it opens the doors. So my suggestion is that you get in touch with me, and I'm just going to quickly show the web page. So let's just that you can go to. So if I just go to this is my website here. So you've got the introduction part of the website. You've got some English reviews that I've had. I've been a teacher I qualified as a teacher in 1981. So I've been doing this a long time. I've worked all over the world. I've worked in Kuwait. I've worked in Bahrain. I've worked in Singapore. I've also obviously spent a lot of time in UK schools and aspiring to a deputy head at one point. And then I have an MA and a Bachelor of Education. So I'm well versed in teaching, and I've seen the changes from pre-national curriculum to national curriculum and how everything is so rigid and so based on assessment. And sometimes I think that the enjoyment has gone for a lot of students because it's all based on tracking data, and it's a real headache for the teachers. And, you find that teachers are stressed, kids are stressed. And if you're not relaxed, you can't enjoy things and you don't learn. So I'm kind of showing you on the webpage what you can do. So I've said here, you can unlock your child's potential with my advice here. There's common challenges that come across. That there are behavioural issues with lots of kids, and quite honestly, parents have to deal with it, and you have to be, very solid with that. It's not always rewarding bad behaviour; it's rewarding effort and work, and showing that as a way. But every student has a story. So all you have to do as a parent is to fill in the form, which is on here. It says download the contact form, and it's a small Word document form, and you can just fill in some of the things that you think that your child struggles with. There's no obligation to having a consultation, but if you send me back this information, I can look at it and I can suggest a way forward. And if you want to have a chat, then I will talk to you face to face online. There'll be certain times that I'm not going to be doing consultations, because most of my time is spent in the evening with tuitions, on one-to-one tuitions, etc., with students, even in holiday times. But I do have sort of daytime slots that I'm going to be looking at. So the best thing is really to have a look at the website, click on it. Look, this costs nothing to do this. It's an inquiry, let's put it that way. And if I can come up with some idea, then it might help you as a parent to have better days, not worrying about your child or children. GCSE is a very difficult subject for English. It is much harder than when I was a youngster growing up. In fact, I would say the GCSE today was the A level of the past in my day. So, there's this notion that students getting worse and worse at knowledge. They're not actually. We've got some very bright students, but we need to make sure that they're more engaged. In English, you need to have an incredible general knowledge. You can't not watch the news. You can't not have interest in climate change, technology, AI, all these things. They're very, very important. And, it's about research, going on the internet, looking at things and finding out why people do what they do. And, in some ways, GCSE English is like being a lawyer, because you have to look at a text and you have to make inferences and judgments based on your understanding and interpretation of the text, but you have to back it with the evidence to support your answer. Now, that is a high level skill. Anyway, if you please get in touch with me. As I said, it costs nothing at this stage, but if I want to see whether I can help, as this is something I know that I can offer.